going on?
Trying to see if we can repair our dinghy. This gunnel here, it's just weak. The wood we used is weak. It's cracked. I just noticed another crack here actually. It's cracked here and here, which is cracked the ply. I'm trying to through bolt some more oar stands because there's so much force on there from rowing. We row so much. I don't think it was really designed to be rowing as heavy and as in stronger conditions as we row in. We're probably going to have to put on, I don't know, maybe some more fiberglass. I don't think it's going to help. I need to somehow figure out how to strengthen these, so maybe we'll ask your dad when he's here. But I don't know, we don't really want to have to replace the whole thing. I don't know if a section would really help. All the extra holes in here, which probably doesn't help to being weakened either. Seems that my rowing on my right side is much stronger. We've had a real problem with our oar stands. The oar stands, the quality of the metal's been really bad. So we finally had some brought down by, I think either Sandra or Drea.
On day 2 here in Zihuatanejo, we have not quite had a successful start here. Our outboard is not working, and we managed to somehow lose one oar out of the dinghy while it was hanging off the back of the boat. So that means no rowing to shore and no motoring to shore, no going to shore in the dinghy. And Ty has been all afternoon yesterday. He spent working on the dinghy, changing the spark plugs, cleaning the carburetor, looking for any other sort of problem he could find. After exhausting all the standard maintenance checks, Ty read through the manual to see if there were any other troubleshooting suggestions. As recommended in the maintenance guide, we tried to lubricate the cylinder by adding oil through the spark plug hole, which resulted in oil pouring out the bottom of the shaft. Although alarming, we later learned that this was an exhaust drain and normal, but it still didn't get it running. So now the problem is, how do we get to shore? We went to shore on the paddleboard, the two of us, last night to visit my parents, but that's a bit of a wet ride with two of us on the paddleboard. Ty has to wear his swimsuit in and change, and we can't really bring anything to and from the boat on the paddleboard. After resorting to canoe paddling the dinghy, we finally made it to shore, slowly but dry. Welcome to Zihuatanejo.
First order of business is to check in with the port captain and bring our paperwork. We spoke to him yesterday, but because we didn't have a dinghy, we couldn't do it that easy.
Officially checked into town, we went to meet up with my parents, whose arrival welcome had been interrupted by our transport problems. After welcoming them to town, we took them out on an extended walking tour, searching for repair shops for our various broken items. Buscamos para un tubo de aluminio para un barco, un velero, y está roto en medio.
Well, we finally made a little bit of progress. We went for a number of places, fishing shops,
Hardware
outboard shops, hardware shops, and got sent to a glass shop.
A glass and aluminum shop.
An aluminium shop, yeah.
Yeah. And so the lady's husband's a metal worker, so we're gonna give him a call later and see if he can come down to the beach and take a look at our pole and see if he can make some repairs.
Right now we're thinking cutting it off and making it shorter. The aluminium pole, the biggest diameter they have is 3 inches, and it looks like a thin wall, so we'll see.
We're out at Zihuacán, which is kind of like an archaeological site south of Zihuatanejo. One nice thing about having my parents in town was that we got to go play tourist, getting out to do some of the things we wouldn't normally get to see or do.
We're out here checking out this archaeological site and museum, probably about 40 minutes, not that long, maybe it's 20 minutes or so south of Zihuatanejo right now. I think this was only uncovered relatively recently. I want to say maybe 2007 they started digging on this. I don't know if that's when it was found, but I think that's when they started digging on it and did this museum and all.
Behind me here is the pyramid that they've kind of halfway excavated and restored quite a bit, it looks like. Some cool steps. You can see the original steps way down there.
Looks like they're still in the middle of restoring it bit by bit. Like most other countries in restorations, if you've ever been to Italy, they take years to do their restorations. But they got some bricks out drying. I don't know what I think about that. We've done a lot of different ruins around Mexico and other places, and I like it when it's kind of natural. They've re-stuccoed the whole thing, so they've basically put it back how it would have been brand new, but it's, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of cool that you get to see it how it would have looked, but it's also would be neat to see it how it's been discovered and how it lasted through time as well.
And a big part of it obviously is that stopping it so it doesn't degrade anymore.
But kind of preserving it as it's found.
Now it's hard to tell what was original and what's not, because none of what we see right now is original. It's all just been re-stuccoed over. There is a lot of original stuff underneath the dirt that they haven't excavated.
Let's dig it up.
Under this hill, right here.
In a small nearby beach town, we sat down to get a taste of the local foods. Tails. ¿Es posible alargar un tiempo para ustedes ver el tubo para hacer reparaciones? Our hunt for aluminum tubing continued, taking us to new parts of town. And although unsuccessful, we did happen upon the local stainless nut and bolt shop.
Back on the bus.
Back on the bus.
Heading to Central Ziwatneho. We're just walking around trying to find some mechanics to work on our engine actually, and we might have found a solution for that. We've got a guy we're going to need to take it into later today or tomorrow. We're waiting on a bloke to come around right now and look at our whisker pole and see what he can do to that.
Yeah, I'm in an aluminum shop yesterday.
You want to go over to your parents' house?
Yeah, I'm going to go over to my parents, use some internet, shower, all that good stuff.
Oh, and we're still working on the ore issue. We've got someone, we told him we'd pay him 800 pesos if he can find our ore, and we've got a guy that might be able to make us one. Rowing to shore with our bent in half whisker pole. We're going to meet Rodrigo, I think, shortly down here to see what he can do for us. Well, the problem we're going to have is trying to find a replacement for this insertable, the inner tube, which is 2.5 inch diameter. Rowing to shore with one oar that we have left and the paddleboard paddle on the other side, hoping we don't bend it. We exhausted our options to find another oar here locally. We may be able to get one made, but to try and get one as close to the other, I mean, we can order one of these for 30 bucks on Amazon. So that's what we did. We've got it going into San Diego, and then fingers crossed, hopefully we're going to have someone from San Diego ship it down here. That should be in a relatively decent time frame. We were waiting for a taxi. The taxi guy came with someone, dropped them off, picked someone else up, but then said, hey, by the way, we'll be back in a minute. I'm not going to wait for you. Let's find another taxi. Hillary's going in search to see if we can find someone that might know where the mechanics are, because the mechanic shop is closed. He said he's open on Monday morning, and it's after 10. They should be well open by now. But you know, probably went out to run an errand or something like that. So I'm pretty confident someone will know how to find him. Back behind me is like a little inside courtyard of like a food market, and there's like groceries and like some little food stands and all that. You know, a really easy way to repay people when they help you. Everyone has been so nice always in Mexico. Pretty much anywhere we go, right? Everyone's very nice. But we get a lot of help with directions, and one of the ladies from here helped us out. We're trying to get a hold of the mechanic this morning and so on, where we're waiting for the motor. So an easy way to repay people when they're helping you out with directions and so on is we try and like see how we can give them a bit of money, and running a food shop. So like, why don't we spend our money at the shop with the lady that helped us out? I mean, that's just a tiny little thing, right? But those little things help out. I think that's a good way to remember it, is you could always help out with just a little bit just by shopping from them. That's what we do.
El tubo está en la playa, cerca del Capitanía. Ahora está muy bien.
We're trying to get hooked up with this bloke to come look at our aluminium whisker pole.
En 5 minutos.
Right. Everyone works on their own time, so multiple times we've been told he's
En la playa, muy cerca
on his way.
a la Capitanía.
Be there in less than an hour, but no one's showing up.
Motor is dropped off. Now we're just waiting on the beach for this aluminum guy to show up. This is like day 3 of him supposed to be here. So we're keeping our fingers crossed today he shows up. We've called a few times already this morning. There they go. Let's hope they can fix it. With their pole finally into the shop and cut apart, we determined that the salvageable section of the pole was too short to be worthwhile. With no local options available for aluminum, we finally broke down and ordered some tubing from the US to be shipped down. With our whisker pole on hold for the time being, we headed back across town to check on our outboard motor, which had now been in the shop for almost a week. Unfortunately, we received bad news here. The local mechanic determined that there was no compression, most likely due to a cracked cylinder. With this repair being far more work than the motor was actually worth, it was a lost cause, and we said adios to our little outboard.
We just got back to the boat after getting a little bit of bad news on our motor. Right now I'm going to finish up changing one of the fittings that I've got on the water maker. We've had a constant leak through the pressure relief valve on our motor, on our high pressure pump. And I'm thinking it is because we've tried different pressure relief valves. Right now we've got a right angle nylon barb on there, which I think is probably creating a bit of back pressure. The reason for that is that we did not have the correct sized fitting on there when we first got it, and we've been having a hard time finding the right pipe thread and barb. Either we're just completely confused on the barb and hose pipe size, even with the calipers, or just they all seem to be a little bit different. Anyway, we've got this nice bronze one here now. We're going to give that a shot. It looks like it might be right. We're going to have to move the motor out to get to where the hose inlet is, and we're hoping that'll fix our back pressure issue.
Update here on where we're at with our various projects while we're in town here. It's now Tuesday in Zihuatanejo. We are still waiting on our ore to show up. Just got an update that it is in Tijuana now, and hopefully it should be here in a day. And our aluminum tubing pole is in San Diego. Unfortunately, it did not show up to the shipper package, so they're going to have to package it. We're really keeping our fingers crossed that they package it well, because otherwise if it shows up here damaged, basically that was a big waste of time and money. So we'll see. That is supposed to ship out on Thursday, so in 2 days. And we're not sure if it'll get on a plane and be here in 1 day, or go on a truck, and we'll have to wait 10 days for that. Project we're going to tackle next is working on the dinghy. I think we're going to try and do that while on the boat here, which means we won't have the dinghy available to row to and from shore. It'll be taken apart up on deck. So we're going to go stock up and prepare just to camp out, work on the boat, work on the dinghy for the next few days, and try and get that repaired. Thanks so much for watching, and a huge thanks to our patrons for supporting these videos. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see how we finish up all of our projects here and get back to sailing. Until next time, adios.
Give me like a yummy face. Yummy face.
Yum.